In the previous video, we said that there are a lot of intertwinings between politics and economics, and we call this to be public choice theory. So here, let's take a closer look at this theory. So public choice theory. Public choice theory was developed by James Buchanan, and it basically tells us the intertwinings or the implications of economics and politics all at once. So the economic analysis of public and political decision making. Public and political decision making. So things are disappearing here. I'm not really sure. So public and political decision making. So here, economic analysis of public and political decision making is what is known as public choice theory. So in simple terms, it asks us whether or not where do the incentives of politicians and policymakers lie? Do they care more about the economy, or do they care a little bit more about themselves? So because policymakers and politicians are the ones that are coming up with the economic and fiscal policies, they are the ones that have to balance out their own interests versus what is good for the economy. And like most politicians, of course, we do note that most politicians have the incentive of only caring about themselves. And what is their main goal in life? Their main goal in life is to stay in power or to maintain their job, have a position in power. So in order to do that, what are they likely to do? They're likely to go ahead and choose economic policies that sound good or make them look good, but a lot of these economic policies may not be in the best interest for the economy at that given moment in time. So would we ever want to vote for a politician that says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and raise your taxes because that's going to be good for the economy? And probably not in this instance, right? So if we hear our own politician or policymaker saying, hey, they're going to raise our taxes, we are probably going to vote him or her out of office. So this is why a lot of fiscal policies are only going to be increasing spending, decreasing taxes, or increasing transfer payments, because they all make the politicians look good in the voters' eyes. So in this case, we notice that there is a lot of intertwinings between politics and economics when there really shouldn't be, because economics should only really care about the data and where we are currently. So what is good for the economy may not be good for the politicians and their own image in this instance. And there are a lot of examples of public choice theory popping up, most notably a few years ago with Bush Sr. So when Bush Sr. was in office, or when he was trying to get elected, the main mantra that got him elected was read my lips, no new taxes. And then when he got in, that made him look really, really good in terms of the voters. So he was voted as president. And once he got into office, what did he do? He found it very, very difficult to conduct any of his policies without actually raising taxes. So he actually did raise taxes. And this is exactly why he's a one-term president, because the voters were not very, very happy with that. So there's public choice theory in application. He actually threw up on the Japanese prime minister as well during his term in office. There's actually video of that. It's actually pretty funny. So you can go ahead and Google and YouTube that to see the video of that. But essentially here, public choice theory basically just tells us that there's a lot of politics involved in economics when it really shouldn't be, when economics really should all be concerned with what the data is telling us. So that just tells us that a lot of fiscal policy is often financed by deficits because policymakers find it very difficult to raise taxes or to reduce spending. So the vast majority of fiscal policies that we see nowadays, they're always going to be increasing spending or lowering taxes, because that is what makes that politician, that congressman or congresswoman, that senator look good in the eyes of the voters. It might be very, very difficult to do to increase taxes or reduce spending, even though it may be good for the economy. But once again, the self-image of these politicians is what they have in their own best interests. Because of this, we do notice that fiscal policy, we spend a lot more than we do take in as tax revenues, which is why we run deficits year after year after year, which have contributed to the very large national debt that we have today. So in the next section, based on the ideas of this public choice theory, we want to go ahead and see what the differentiation is between a deficit, a debt, and the surplus, and see exactly how we calculate all these things out, and see a little bit more application of what the United States' deficits and debts look like today. So we'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video.